Good point. Let me further clarify that. So self-defense is very important.
Oh, I thought you used unjustified at the end. Murder is always defined as unjustified. Murder and killing are never used in exchange for one another. But he said that in the beginning, that murder, you don't use murder and killing. He separated those two. He just going to use the unjustified.
Exactly, right? I can see where you're going to go and how that has to go with abortion, but we can go down that path. Yeah, so I mean, like, I kind of do. When I did my arguments, of course, like pro-choice, so I think it's justified.
Dang.
I think that, your position is quite absurd, right? Because you're saying that it's murder to kill a human being at any point in development, especially when it's mother's womb. My question to you would be, well, does this make women with IUDs murderers? Because it is the case that in some scenarios,
Check Dean out on TikTok too. He great.
But it will prevent its implantation, intentionally killing it.
This is a really difficult one for a lot of pro-life people to deal with, is the prevention of implantation. I believe that Plan B can work this way, but I don't know. It could either be you prevent implantation or you.
I think the debates today or tomorrow between Kamala and Trump.
I think that I think Lisa. I think I've heard of some people that will define conception as the moment of implantation.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy.
Like the sperm
I don't see why people think she can't stand on stage with Trump.
Called the sperm and egg joining. They'll say that it has to join and then be implanted. And
I don't see why they think that
to get around
she's a whole fucking attorney.
Has to bite the bullet on this though, because the brain dead really just.
I don't see why people think she can't stand on stage and debate.
IUDs and Plan B, absolutely.
That's gonna be a cakewalk for her.
No, implantation is not necessarily the same thing. It's terminating.
It's not the same thing, but it can be. You can fertilize an egg and prevent the implantation of the egg. Right. You have to consider that an abortion, unless he's going to run with that. Well, no, implantation is conception, not conception is being conception, or not fertilization is being conception.
Human life there, but it will prevent its implantation, intentionally killing it. Well, no, implantation is not necessarily the same thing as terminating a fertilized egg. For example, you take Plan B. Again, it's not the same thing. Preventing the production of progesterone is not the same thing as terminating a being that has been fertilized. That was a totally unrelated smorgasbord of who cares. None of that has anything to do with it. You just totally brought in. He's lost because he never heard this argument before.
Yeah.
Not know for a fact that the egg isn't fertilized. You do not know. It doesn't matter if you know for a fact, right? If somebody tells me that there's a 10% chance that a human is standing behind that door, and I'm like, okay, cool, and then I pull a trigger and I shoot. I don't know for a fact there's a human behind that door. In fact, I got reason to believe there's not. 90% chance it's not. But if I pull the trigger and shoot, I'd still be just 100% as culpable for murder as somebody.
He is going to watch.
Right? Like, absolutely.
She is going to watch Trump.
That's a horrible argument. The counter argument from this guy, and it sounds like this guy knows what he's talking about. This is a slam dunk. Super easy.
That's Dean.
Yeah, fertilization or implantation to the uterine lining is killing a conceived zygote. So what happens? The sperm goes into the egg, right? The egg becomes fertilized, it's conceived zygote. In some cases, it will prevent the implantation.
Yeah, Dean is great on TikTok. Check him out. He is great.
In some cases, it's smarter than.
You know what he's talking about.
Full well, you're participating in that, knowing that you might fertilize an egg and you're preventing implantation. So you're committing murder, just not all the time.
So you say in some cases women die are worse? Of course not. They're not murders. We do not know for a case. That's like saying that. So what's the difference?
What do you mean you don't know for a case? Please push him on that. It doesn't matter what the percentage chances are, dog. What are you talking about?
Seems like in some cases, correct. So you say in some cases women die are worse? Of course not. They're not murders. We do not know for a case. That's like saying that. So what's the difference between?
Oh, you should have let him finish that. That's like saying what?
IUD killing a conceived zygote because a mother going to a Planned Parenthood and killing the fetus. Well, so you're asking two separate things.
Wait, hold on. That might have been a bad example.
So what's the difference between an IUD killing a conceived zygote and a mother going to a Planned Parenthood and killing the fetus? Well, so
he shouldn't have granted that. He should have pushed him on this. Maybe you're murdering somebody, maybe not.
You're asking two separate things. If they knew for certain, to be more clear, that I have a fertilized egg, I'm going to take a drug to prevent that fertilized egg from attaching to their uterine wall, then yes, that is an act of killing or murder.
Well, what do you think an IUD is for, my friend? Hello? What?
Okay, so if all murder should go to jail?
Oh, I shouldn't have let him. He let him dance away from this too easily.
I think all murderers should go to jail.
The answer would be yes. If it's a question of should women that do abortions go to jail, then the answer is very easily yes, unless he brings it back to the IUD thing.
I mean, on third degree murder. However, no, I don't think women that got abortions or had IUDs should go to jail, because I think that they have been deceived by mass culture and mass propaganda. Second.
Oh my God, that just opened up a whole new can of worms. You think that people who got abortions shouldn't go to jail? He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. He wants to very harshly penalize this, but then he wants to have all the good public will of not coming out as being against women. What about women that kill their 1-year-old children who have been deceived by the media? Would they not be counted as murderers?
The people who should go to jail are the abortionists, who are the ones that have been putting the abortion pill, the ones that have been doing procedures, the ones that have been going into the third trimester and breaking babies' backs and inserting them with syringes while the babies are crying and suffocating, being born alive, and then being.
Why are these guys all raising their flags? So some dip can take his place. He's going to be.
Yeah, they should have left Dean up there. They should have left Dean up there. Good. You know what he's talking about. He know how to talk.
So if so, wouldn't it be easier to just take the anti-moral realist position and force him to gridlock? No, why? Who Or what? No.
They gonna switch spots just to argue. That's all. Just to argue.
I can't believe he danced away from that so easily.
They should have left Dean up.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like this concept
Discussion.
of running to the chair either.
I always go to the question of what about in the case of the mother when her life is in danger?
Oh, it doesn't matter. This is so cringe. I'm sorry, pro-choicers. Nobody gives a f of the mother. There's never, ever, ever going to be a time when you excuse murdering somebody for the convenience of another person, even if that convenience has to do with health. You're just never going to win that
Damn.
ever. It sounds unhinged. And you wouldn't accept it ever in the case of a baby, like an actual baby, right? What if the mother's nipples were just super, super, super chafed and she really didn't want to feed her kid and she watched it wither away and starve? Like, you'll never, ever, ever win this argument to a pro-lifer. And it's just not foundational. It's not even a good argument, but we'll see.
Sure, because I'm a big believer. I don't know. I'm still iffy on if I think it's a or if it's murder or not. But even so,
It can't be
I mean, I don't want to say murder is justified. Guys, wait, let me just get to one point and then vote me out. Give me 1 second.
Yep, they finna vote her out already. She already finna go.
If she gives birth, she's gonna die. She has some kind of
Boring self-defense. You're implicating. You're not just killing a person. You've got to save a life, right? This is an easy. This is a level 1. This is
They
level
already
1.
finna get her
She's gonna
off.
die. Even the most religious person will say, "Well, that's very tragic." But yeah, in that case, you have to choose. Unfortunately, you know the mother's gonna live. You choose the life of the mother, but you're not just killing the baby. You're just aborting for no reason. You have to save one life, right?
of health complication. Then what do you do in that
Cesarean
case?
section.
I don't know what that
It's a
means.
C-section. They
Oh,
do an
guys,
insert.
wait, hold on. One second.
They go.
So, see, what? Charlie Kirk is so stupid.
Yeah, they will never prioritize the baby over the mother. Well, the mother over the baby. It's gonna always be about the baby.
All of those fears. There's a lot of things that happen in the course of the pregnancy that could represent a threat to the mom's life. It's very rarely is it just. Well, I'm saying very rarely, but it's not just the vaginal birth delivery of the child that is the thing that's representing a threat to the mom's life. What a stupid counter argument.
Mhm.
I don't know, but he might not know anything. He might have never actually seen a girl or a pussy or a uterus or anything. He might have been born via something conservative think tank somewhere. I don't actually know. It's possible, but
Mhm.
okay.
What do you do in that
Cesarean
case?
section.
I don't know what that
It's a
means.
C-section. They
Oh,
do an
guys,
insert.
wait, hold on. One second.
They go right below the belly button and they deliver the baby, and after she doesn't have to give birth.
Nah, Shawty, they trying to get you out of there. You ain't doing nothing but shitty chatting.
A C-section is safer than an abortion?
Mm.
And in what trimester? What? C-section is major surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I were obviously like, what about Plan B versus a C-section? What would I look up? C-section complication rates. Hemorrhage or increased blood loss. There's more blood loss in C-section delivery than with a vaginal delivery. This can lead to anemia or blood transfusion. 1 to 6 women per 100 require a blood transfusion. Injured organs, possible injured organs such as a gallbladder, 2 for 100. Like it's just stupid. Okay. Okay. Does he think? What does he think a C-section is? You just you kind of open the belly button up a little bit, and the kid just pops out.
It's technically birth, but it's much safer. So that's actually safer than an abortion versus.
And I found the new
I don't
anime
know if
too.
C-section typically is safer. Than
This anime right here
vaginal
is
delivery.
really
Assuming the
good.
mother
I
can
like
deliver
this
vaginally
one.
healthily. I don't even know if that's the case. That cutting open the stomach and taking the baby out is safer than an ordinary.
Yeah, I think
I don't know.
I found me another one.
Oh, what's going to come up here? Wait. All C-sections can prevent injury and even death. To
Waiting
those
on
with high-risk
Chainsaw
pregnancies
Man.
and their babies. They also lead
Y'all
to
think
increased
Chainsaw
risks
Man
of
gonna come back
complications
this
like
year?
blood clotting,
I don't think
infections,
so.
Ogden,
I
Rebecca,
wish.
from the north.
I really
You're not
do
putting yourself
wish.
or your baby in an unnecessary, dangerous position by opting for a C-section when you don't need one.
I'm starting on this one.
I don't know why this
I'm just now starting on this one. I know it's been out, but I'm just now starting it, and I like it.
What's your name? Deedon.
How does it make
But
sense
this
to
one
make
right
a
here,
C-section
yeah,
safer?
it's really good.
Then why are the moms
It's really
always
good. I
not
like it. It got
choosing
some
it?
potential.
It's historically made.
Oh, but they just released some good
shit.
shit. They just released some good shit. I ain't gonna lie.
I would say
They
with
just
abortion,
did.
I think it's very complicated.
And
I
yeah,
think the issue
they
that I
did
have,
too.
primarily with your stance,
They just released some good shit too. My Hero, yeah. Waiting on that one right there to come back.
Even in cases of rape in certain states,
I'm
that
waiting
don't have
on
any
you.
Sort of allowance for that, and I think a lot of people who are pro-life, they say that they're pro-life, but I feel like they're really pro-birth because with firearms, the United States has some of the highest firearm deaths out of OECD nations, right? And we can acknowledge that that's for children who are actually living and breathing. So I feel
Is
like
that him?
abortion, while yeah, it is, I can definitely see your point. I just think that it should be allowed in some circumstances. Okay. Yeah.
It looks like him. I can't tell with that blurred out video. What?
I tell you about stealing my lines. The leader is supposed to say that. Well, whatever. Let's show these lizards who's boss. If nothing else, we'll at least take one of them out.
I like your confidence. But be careful anyway.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm glad I started on it. Yeah, I'm glad I started on it. They just dropped the 3rd season of this too. The animation on this motherfucker is crazy. The animation is crazy alone.
What will happen if I just shoot him with all the water I have stored in my stomach?
Answer. Expulsion of all water is possible. If it hits the salamander, it will cause an explosion of steam. Take this action.
An explosion.
But yeah, that's the anime I'm watching right here. I like this one. That's the one I'm gonna catch up on. Then I'm far behind, so I got at least about 2 seasons on that. Got at least about 2 more seasons after this one. So that's good. Well, back to this Charlie Kirk interview. Watching him interview with motherfucking college students. Why would he want to go pull this with Destiny?
Great. I'm happy to get into the gun violence stuff later, but I want to really stay focused on abortion.
Right.
You can say you see my point. Can you see the world also where, since we know it's human life, that should be illegal since we don't allow murder in our society?
Well, that's where I have an issue because abortion's not being done willy-nilly. It's like
That's not him. I think. Oh man, I wish he took this damn thing down. But it looks like one of the guys I watch on TikTok.
We have 4,000. My bad. 1.6. Sorry.
And I like him. He real good on TikTok.
I just want to clarify. The thing that you're aiming for is less abortion, right? That would be what you want, or at least no abortion.
Eventually, it's also a protection of those that can't protect
Less
themselves.
abortion?
That's why once we after reversal of Roe versus Wade, we saw abortions go down dramatically in Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. We saw thousands of babies are now alive and well. They're able to have amazing lives thanks to reversal of Roe versus Wade.
I don't think a lot of that is true.
Y'all think they're gonna reverse Roe versus Wade
Abortion illegal.
when Kamala gets in the office?
Point in Texas, the numbers show different. The birth rate is
I think she will.
But illegal abortions still happen. Abortions still happen outside of whatever data you
That's
show.
not true, but let's just say so. Well, you want to, well, first of all, you count the abortion pill, you're right, but that's a separate thing than a chemical abortion and surgical abortion are different things. And I'm not debating you, I'm debating her. So
chemical and surgical. Wait, why are they so different? She should push on that.
Goal goes down, but illegal abortions still happen. Abortions still happen outside.
Sorry, this argument was so bad.
saw thousands of babies are now alive and well that are able to have amazing lives thanks to reversal of Roe versus Wade.
I don't think a lot of that is true.
It is, but
it's not true because when you make abortion illegal, it doesn't actually decrease the
so
amount of
that's a
abortions that
nice
happen.
talking point. In Texas, the numbers show different. The birth rate has gone up.
Yeah.
It also doesn't matter. Like you don't necessarily just make things legal or illegal, depending on how bad the crime is. Enforceability can be to some kind of, like to some extent we talk about it, but like for murder, really?
Legal goes down, but illegal abortions still happen. Abortions still happen outside of whatever data you
That's
show.
not true, but let's just say so. Well, you
40?
want to. Well, first of all, if you count the abortion pill, you're right, but that's a separate thing than a chemical abortion and surgical abortion are different things. And I'm not debating you. I'm debating her. So if you want to do the flags and come back in, try and be after it. So the question is, we should try to limit
Parker and Dean. Check
Okay,
Parker
that's
and
nice.
Dean
So
out
there's
on
unjust suffering
TikTok.
of anywhere between 1.4 to 1.6 million abortions a year.
I wish I knew the other guy name.
And so that's not a woman's rights issue.
That is a very secular, Sam Harris-esque analysis of meta ethics. No. Maybe?
Damn, I wish I knew his name.
Meta or normative? I think it would be meta ethics. The idea that what we ought to do is just reduce the amount of suffering of all human beings, because then if that's your definition for what would make the most goodness, then the immediate answer that you fire back is, oh, can unconscious beings suffer? Can you suffer in your sleep? The answer is, well, probably not. No. And then it'd be, oh, are fetuses...
Can you
before
suffer
the age
in
of
your
16
sleep?
weeks, do they have a consciousness? Well, no. Oh, then in that case, if your goal is to reduce
I think you
the
can.
suffering of unconscious beings, all you have to do, or of conscious beings, all you have to do is show that the mother benefits somewhat.
You can be in pain
by having an abortion, and that's automatically
while you in
justification
sleep.
for it.
While you
There's
sleep,
not a conscious experience there. Nothing is suffering. There is no one to speak of who is suffering. They don't even have
you probably
consciousness
won't
for it.
know you in
See, that,
pain.
this argument that you just gave here, that justification is insanely self-defeating. But I don't know if no one will call him out on that.
Limit unjust suffering of human beings, right?
Sure.
Okay, that's my position, is that there's unjust suffering of anywhere between 1.4 to 1.6 million abortions a year of human beings that are being massacred in the womb.
If they don't like suffering of human beings, they shouldn't like prison either.
To decrease abortion
Right?
is proper sex education.
If they don't like suffering of any kind,
Decrease the amount of abortions, but
So
how?
should they
I
like
think
prison?
There's a Zoomer and shave to get a Charlie Kirk in a panel like this. Why do you have to shave? He's not shaved.
what is your evidence of that?
What is my evidence of that?
Because we have increased sex education in the last years. We've had
No,
Well, by that, what do you mean by that? We have more access to birth control for a young kid. Going to do birth control at a younger age. We have more of that in our public school system. We've seen all the trends actually in negative direction. So, in fact,
The women just don't. They don't want nobody telling them what to do. I see that.
Let me ask you just one more thing.
I
You
see
say
that's the
that
problem.
we
They don't
make
want
abortion
nobody
illegal,
telling. Hey,
people still
I
do it.
don't
Should we
blame
just
them.
make gang violence legal because
No,
They just don't want nobody telling them what to do at all.
Wouldn't be advocating for, like, to make
I
abortion
see they
legal,
throwing
you'd
them
be
flags
advocating
that
for
line
up,
applies to
boy.
stealing, looting, kidnapping, arson, and murder.
Well, actually, it does, because those are results of different
Okay,
societal
so-
issues that you should be
got it.
educating
So we
yourself
should
on,
make-
rather than making it
so we
illegal
should
up
make-
front.
Can we make kidnapping, arson, burglary, murder legal because they're something else?
We should be
Yeah, that's an easy thing to. That's an easy counter.
helping society heal from
We
those
gotta answer the
things.
question. We want less of those things. We just make them legal. We'll get less looting.
Should we make murder
Yeah.
legal?
Actually, I'm gonna let someone else take
Thank
it.
you.
Oh, she abdicated.
No, of
Hi,
course
Parker.
not.
Nice to meet you. Yes.
Nice to meet you, Charlie.
Big TikTok guy.
So, like, I was people who
Parker, you got up there fast. There you go.
Should they go to prison? So, like, if you could go back in time, would you put those pedophiles in prison that married those children? Because it was normalized, they were deceived into thinking it's okay. Would you put them in prison?
Yeah, slow down.
Sorry.
How fast is he talking? It's a very easy question. I think Charlie has to answer yes.
Oh, he
because
got to
Charlie's
talk with
foundation for
Parker.
moral
He
belief
got to
is gonna
talk to
be
him.
Biblical. It's going to come from God.
He
And
is
God's
not gonna talk
belief
over.
about what's morally right or wrong shouldn't be relative to time period. So it should be whatever comes from the Bible. So he has to say yes. There's more. The moral beliefs of what's right or wrong should be consistent through time. Maybe he'll say that the justice system shouldn't represent necessarily what's
Football's back.
moral or not moral. I would be really surprised to hear him say that, but we'll see what he says.
Pedophiles should get the death penalty.
No, so you go back
My
in time,
Saints.
even the death penalty, even though they were deceived into thinking.
Yeah, my Saints did that thing yesterday. Oh yeah.
Using a variation of argument, I said someone should do it earlier, but
Yeah,
it's
my
true.
Saints did real good yesterday.
Earlier, he said, "Well, I don't think women should be punished for abortion because they were deceived into aborting their kid." And then my thing was, okay, well, if you kill your 1-year-old and you were deceived into it, should you be forgiven for that? So he doesn't need to do this go back to the past thing. He could just ask today, oh, what about right, who was deceived into it? But it's a good example though, because it's showing that, well, this was normalized for us in entire society, like pedophilia. That's okay. No, actually, yeah, I like this. This is a good one. It's a good one. It's a better analog actually to my baby murder one. Well, for a different reason, because it shows it was a thing that was normalized in society, but you still punish for it, just like abortion. Yeah. But you wouldn't punish for abortion, right?
Currently legal.
They trying to punish
You're deceived into
for
thinking it's
abortion.
okay.
They trying
Abortion
to.
for women should go to prison.
But it's not currently legal.
Okay.
Well, it's not currently illegal, but
Regardless,
I feel
at
like-
that time it wasn't.
No, I would not go back and retroactively enforce laws for things we're currently not
You
illegal.
wouldn't put
oh, now he changed his position. That's untenable. You can't be religious, generally speaking, and have different morals for different time periods. The implication there is that God is not perfect and God can't give you a consistent moral code because God might think that something is good or bad, differently 100 years from now. He has to hit on the religious angle. Let's see.
I was in prison with that.
Hold on a second. When was it illegal? When was it legal in America?
Charlie is obfuscating now. Now he's going to try to push for specific facts. He's going into wash mode.
Yeah, I think I'm finna do that.
Right? I'm completely defeated on the subject, like on the actual merits of the argument. Let's see if I can obfuscate and ask random questions to try to pivot off the argument. Let's see if he gets distracted or if he's able to. Because he should just say, okay, well, I don't know when it was legal, but let's say for the hypothetical, the year 1900. He should just say that. He shouldn't try to do specific. Because now Charlie's going to try to beat him up to see if he knows the actual specific law and the specific date and where specifically
And he don't.
specifically did it. And if he doesn't,
And he don't.
Won the argument just because he doesn't know all the specifics there. This is a bad faith.
What do y'all think about those YouTubers getting that big ass check they got from the Russians?
When was it legal in America?
Well, child marriage was legal in America throughout the early 1900s, and especially
That should be a goddamn talking point for the Democrats.
So
Hey, y'all out here taking money from the Russians. We shouldn't be taking nothing from y'all. We should be taking y'all serious when it comes to these U.S. politics. Y'all taking money from Russia. We don't know what y'all believe.
Not only is he debating a bunch of college kids, now he's
But they're Republican.
He's debate against all the college kids. And this is his job, is knowing these types of things.
They're Republican, so they're gonna look right on past it.
Oh, yeah, so
No, that's not a big deal. Accepting money for Russia?
Can you name any verse? What do you mean?
So where's the Levitical law that allows you to marry a child?
Oh, yeah, so
Can you name the verse?
well, I can't name the verse, but the particular conditions that are listed in the Bible are that you have to be physical maturity and emotional maturity, which is extremely vague throughout society.
Right,
Hasn't
so
seen it yet.
there is not a verse, but let's kind of
Okay, so when's
let's go
the
back
age
to
of consent? What are you?
but let's go back. Well, generally agreed upon is 18 years old. But let me ask you.
But you don't go based on the channel. You go based on the Bible.
Correct. He's correct. He's speaking. I think he might be speaking too fast, or maybe he's not. Charlie. No, he's not. It's understandable what he's saying. Charlie just isn't engaging because Charlie knows that he's completely defeated on this point.
Yeah, Charlie ain't finna mess with Parker. I told you, Parker. Man, Parker's very good. Very, very good. And he pay attention. He knows stuff. He researched.
What Charlie was expecting. Charlie was hoping that
He researched.
like, oh, in the 1800s and 1900s, or that in early biblical history, right? So Charlie's not. Now you go.
He researched. You gonna have to stay on top of Parker. He not letting nothing slide. He good at research.
And he even knew the subject, the content of the biblical requirements to marry somebody underage. And now Charlie's like, well, that doesn't matter.
I like that.
Let me ask you a question, right? What's Charlie gonna ask here? How does he get him off this? Hold on.
Not a verse, but let's kind of
Okay, so when's
let's go
the
back
age
to
of consent?
let's go back. Well, generally agreed upon is 18 years old.
Is he gonna ask him about abortion in the Bible, maybe, or something? I don't know. I have no idea where he's going to try to.
But let me ask you.
But you don't go based on the channel. You go based on the Bible.
I say 18 years old, but let me ask you a question.
Where's that Bible?
When does life begin?
Conception.
Oh, he's just totally. And this other kid is. This kid is me. This kid's debate brained.
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but he's
Parker.
in argumentative mode. He shouldn't have let Charlie escape. Charlie just totally weaseled out of a line of argumentation that he was fully defeated on. Completely.
He is debate brain. I like that too.
To reframe, not reframe. I'm so sorry. He's changing the topic entirely now.
Yeah, I like that too. He's very debate brain.
When does life begin?
Conception.
Yeah, check him out on TikTok too. Make sure y'all check him out.
Do you think brain dead people should be able to pull the plug on, like families should be able to pull the plug on individuals?
Let me ask question. When do brainwaves start?
You can see brainwaves around 6 to 8 weeks, which in brain dead individuals are brainwaves as well. So the brainwaves necessary to produce the subjective experience are met until around
Can you see it from my perspective that at 6 to 8 weeks those brainwaves will actually increase, not decrease, allow the process of development to continue?
Did you know the same?
Then he's doing too much. The kid on the right is doing too much. Then you should just ask him, oh, okay, Charlie Kirk. Then you think that you can abort a child up to 6 weeks old? Do you agree with that?
That at 6 to 8 weeks, those brainwaves will actually increase, not decrease, allow the process of development to continue.
Did you know the same EEG scans exist in brain dead people? You
Well,
don't think
no,
it's
but the difference with the brain dead people is that the likelihood of those brainwaves actually increasing is very low. At 6 to 8 weeks, when by 15 weeks they can hear the
It's
mom's
impossible
voice.
irreversible sensation. That's what brain dead is.
Hold on, but no,
It's not coma.
Am I the only one that writes everything down?
A red herring is where you avoid the topic.
I gotta write my stuff down.
Adjacent or symmetrical.
That's what
My
Charlie Kirk did.
ideas,
He
what I'm
centered this
thinking.
Entire conversation on, or he centered it on a totally different topic of when does life begin. That's what Charlie Kirk did. Now he's describing the tactic that he just used like 20 seconds ago. And now he's trying to say the kid did it when the kid's just trying to answer all the questions. He's offering too much as an answer, but yeah.
That's what brain dead is.
Hold on, but no,
It's not coma.
but you're doing a red herring. Go back to
No, it's
6.
not. What's a red herring?
A red herring is where you avoid the topic and you say something that is adjacent or symmetrical. What I'm saying, not what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? That's not a red herring.
A 6.
Mhm.
Don't
Oh.
define debate terms in a debate like
Oh.
this ever. You always look tipper. Don't do that. Is Charlie Kirk even that popular? I don't see him often. He's the head of Turning Point USA, I believe. The actual
Turning
head or just the,
Point?
like figurehead. I think he's the actual head, isn't he?
8-week baby, if they're allowed to continue to develop, what ends up happening?
At a certain point, it will become a sentient being in the future. The same way that if I keep engaging in sex with my girlfriend, it'll be a baby in the future. You don't care about the
Unless
sex.
you're infertile, which we don't know. But
Oh,
so
no.
let's see the
Charlie, how old are you and how many kids do you have? Oh, he does have 2 children. Fuck.
of development, right? Why
You
do
wanna answer my question yet?
why do you have the ability or the
Should
right
those child key videos go to
It's
prison?
a-
No flags going up for Parker.
from
No
1904? How many
flag.
pedophiles are alive from 1904?
They're not allowed
You
right.
see that?
Yeah, they're
So
gonna leave him
watching
sitting in
this
that
is
chair.
Always evidence of.
He
of,
sound
like,
good,
this is,
too.
He's so bad faith. He's trying so hard to like. He's not engaging in the subject matter at all. But the kid's doing a bad job at refocusing Charlie. on, like, the
Keep
subject
him
matter. It
on
doesn't
one
matter if I'm
topic.
here,
Yeah,
well, we could say for
gotta
argument's sake
keep him
that
on
they're
one
not,
topic,
like,
but
this
he's
is
not
so
gonna
bad,
stay
like,
there. He
it's-
gonna keep running.
And then like if you can go back in the past,
Yes.
hypothetically speaking, and you can put them in
Okay,
prison, would you put them in
I
prison?
would have killed him myself if I was alive.
Okay.
diversion.
Mm.
That was a red herring, right? You answered. What he just did there was the red herring that he described earlier, where you're answering a question that's like adjacent to what I'm saying, but it doesn't really address what I'm saying. Which is, do you think that these people were morally condemnable?
And check out that new video I just
And for
uploaded
you to say, well, I would have
from
killed him,
My
that's not an answer.
Academia.
That's not a Hassan answer.
from My
that's literally a
Hero
red herring, right?
Right, and then
Academia.
like if you can go back in the past, hypothetically speaking, and you can put them in prison, would you put them in
I
prison?
would have killed him myself if I was alive.
Okay, so then you don't apply it based upon what people are deceived to believe.
But
You apply
yes,
based
I
on
do.
what you consider to be moral.
It's a
So
separate
women who
issue.
had abortions, you think they should go to prison.
No,
So why should
no,
women get abortions go to
I've
prison,
never- I've
but
never
someone
said
like my mom
This
told
is
me that
not-
Santa Claus
this
should
is
go to
not-
prison?
So he is making the correct argument. He's just getting. It's hard. He has to force Charlie to engage here because Charlie is he's in bad faith. The kid is in like super debate mode, and he needs to be in retard wrangler mode. Unfortunately, but it's Charlie's fault. I mean, because he's acting like a retard, right? Well, no, I'm sorry. He's not acting retarded. He's acting in bad faith.
Or he just don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I was finishing my statement. We were talking about
But
it.
let me ask you a very simple question. Do you think it would be a good thing if we had less abortions in America?
This is another complete and total diversion off to a totally unrelated thing, right? Like it's supposed to be the kid's challenging him, right? Why is he the one asking the questions here to totally refocus the debate?
Depends on the context. Like, are the abortions prior to sentience?
Yes,
Because I
all
think-
abortions.
Oh yeah, no, not even necessarily
Are you
matter,
against
unless it is the
abortion?
case that people didn't want the abortions and it would be negatively impactful to their health, medically
Are
speaking.
you against
Like
safe
women,
abortion?
after sentience, yes.
Okay, so you believe in an 8-week abortion ban?
Yeah, no. Sorry, I believe in an abortion ban after 18 to 26 weeks.
Okay, that's a more reasonable position. I give you credit for that.
It's
Why?
similar to Trump's. 15 weeks?
Yeah, so why do you think that most people are
You shouldn't let him say that. It's a more reasonable position. Is it more reasonable to say that you should be able to murder children who are 2 years old but not 3 years old? Would you say that's a more reasonable position? When people say things like that, this isn't addressing his argument entirely, but you can say that this speaks to it speaks to the intent of the arguments that you're making. The fact that you would even say that that's a more reasonable argument seems to demonstrate a state of mind that doesn't believe that a fetus is a child, because you would never make that argument if somebody said, hold on, excuse me, you should never murder your 3-year-old child. If you want to murder your 1-year-old child, that's a lot more of a reasonable position. Maybe 1 or 2 years old. It's more reasonable, but not 3, right? You never say that. You would say all of these are important, right?
share your view on that?
Well, people just don't really know what sentience is. There's not a lot of conversation about abortion, and these conversations are very difficult. Like they're conceptually hard to go through, and I understand why a lot of people don't understand.
Yes, a lot of people don't want to talk about abortion.
You got to dance away from that so much. Imagine debating college kids and losing as Charlie Kirk. On abortion, how much has this topic been debated? Like, Jesus, he doesn't even know. Like, well, I know why. I'm sorry. It fits with exactly with what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream. That there's a reason why these avoid challenging conversations, because they know that they're wrong. They know that they can't. They couldn't handle challenges to their positions. 100%.
See you.
So I just have one question. There's like in any case, you don't think there's any case where abortion should be legal?
There's a very, very rare couple cases.
Okay, so you do think that a couple cases it is legal?
If cesarean section is
It's going to be if the life of the mother is at risk and it can't be mitigated in any other way, then you allow for an abortion. This is an obvious position. Even religious people will have this position.
not going to save the mother's life, and the mother's life is actually at risk, which is debated amongst growing numbers of OBGYNs,
Okay.
that is the only case where abortion should be
Do you
allowed.
think there should?
But
Now she's going to ask about an incest exception, probably, but I don't know how that relates to that. But
people say that it is a growing consensus in the pro-life world that abortion is never medically necessary.
Okay, so if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped, and she was gonna give birth and she would know.
If you're sincerely pro-life, then the answer should obviously be no. I'm sorry, you can't have an abortion. An incest is tragic, and it is tragic, but like you can't murder a human being because of another tragic event. You just can't do that. He might try and weasel out of it. The only good weasel out, if you want it to be bad faith, maybe you can say, actually, there are two bad faith arguments that you can use. The first bad faith argument you can use is, well, if they're being a 10-year-old, she probably can't deliver healthily anyway, so you have to do the abortion just to save her life, and then move on immediately. And the second one is, well, maybe you would have to do the abortion, but the fault of the abortion would be the person who got the lady pregnant. So it would be murder still, but the guy who got her pregnant would be the murderer. But that wouldn't be true because there's other agents in between those choices. That'd be bad. And then you move on quickly. But these are like your only two like bad faith ways to escape that argument. But
So if You had a daughter and
He's
she's
totally gonna bite the bullet. No, Charlie Kirk is a fucking coward. He won't bite the bullet on anything because he is a fucking coward.
was 10 and she got and she was gonna give birth and she would no wait. Oh, and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live. Would you want her to go through?
Ooh, she headed off one of the bad faith retorts, which was saying that, well, assume she's going to live through the birth and everything. That was smart of her. That was good foresight.
And she was gonna give birth and she would no wait. Oh, and she was gonna give birth and she was gonna live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her with baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that
That's awful.
Real
graphic.
life, baby.
How dare you?
Real
Awfully
life.
graphic. The stage where you try to make it so that mothers have to see a picture of an ultrasound, or they have to see like a video of what what an abortion procedure looks like. Also, pivot diversion. She should be calling that out too. Like, what does it being graphic have to do with anything? What are you talking about? Excuse me. C-sections are very graphic, by the way. You're literally cutting into somebody's stomach and uterus
Yeah.
to get a baby out. You gotta push aside a whole bunch of shit to do this. It's pretty gross.
would you want her to go through that and carry her with baby?
That's awfully graphic.
It's no, but it's a real life scenario that happens to many
The
people.
answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Oh, he bit the bullet. Good job. Wow. Okay. How many C's do you go down? You got like a C7 and a C6 vertebrae. Okay, his spine is barely materializing at the base of his. How far down your spine goes.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm back to the same.
But let me tell you why. No, hold on. Let me ask you.
Oh, she needs to be ready for him to bite the bullet on that, though, right? Some consistent pro-life person will bite the bullet on it. Oh, that blew her mind. She wasn't expecting him to bite the bullet on that, though. She was expecting to fight from that point. Oh no. The
People.
answer is yes.
Yeah, I
the baby
just
would
know
be delivered.
what to do.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm back to the same.
But let me tell you why. No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. There's two ultrasounds I had. One is a baby conceived in. One is a baby conceived by 11 couple. Which one is which? Which
Your
person-
daughter
which
was
person
probably
here was
hopefully
which person here? Which
somewhat
person here was
loving.
Jesus Christ, she's getting crazy at humming. Okay, Charlie is giving the correct answer here. There is no difference. You can't murder one because you don't like the fact that it was conceived in rape versus not. Yeah.
Conceived by. Tell me which one was conceived by.
We don't know.
Exactly, because it's all human rights.
But
It's all
that
human
doesn't
beings.
matter. But it's about your daughter who has to give
No.
birth to it and is going to be forced to find out the rest of her life.
You are
That's
not.
going to take away every
Hold on a
freedom
second.
she's ever going to have.
Jesus Christ, bro, chill. Also, the only women, no offense, the only women that talk about childbirth like this are always women that have never had kids before, by the way. Okay, this is an unhinged take, but okay.
That's going to ruin her life. She's going to
You know
grow
what?
up and she's going to be
Abortion is not a
attached to
victim of
another
this
thing.
crime. The point is how you were conceived is irrelevant what human rights you get.
But-
When, hold on a second. If a person conceived in walks on the side of the street, it's not that they don't get First Amendment rights or Second Amendment rights.
It's not about that person.
The worst.
How should she respond if he bites his bullet? There was no response. He should bite the bullet. It's good to make him bite the bullet just to acknowledge it, but
He not gonna bite the
has to.
bullet.
It just shows the consistency of his position.
thing to do to that the daughter is to then say, hey, we're gonna go murder the being inside of you.
They wouldn't even know. Like, listen.
They wouldn't
Listen.
know.
She's completely defeated on this point.
But wouldn't it be
No,
better for
no,
to say
it
something
wouldn't.
evil happened and we do something good in the face of
No.
evil instead of saying we're gonna do evil and then murder the being because we're gonna pander to the evil? No, what makes the West great is that we do good after evil, not evil after evil.
It's not about the being and the cells. It's not about. No. I'm speaking.
Notice the difference, though. It's funny.
Oh,
He's
this the
very
girl that said, I'm speaking.
as long as possible because he knows he's won this argument. He's
She
not
wanna
pivoting
get
or
it
asking more
out.
Questions are moving
Let
on to
her
a totally
get it
different
all.
subject. He's going to stay on this particular talking point. My guess would be for as long as possible because he knows he's won this right here.
No,
Yeah,
I'm speaking.
especially with her.
No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking. No, I'm speaking.
Less than we're
No, I'm speaking. Yeah. So it's not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
I
the
know
person.
it's not.
No. I'm talking about the person who is dealing with the pregnancy. I am not talking about
Of
cells.
course.
I don't care. No, listen. The fetus, the whatever. I don't care about that right now until it is formed. If there is a 5-year-old child who is pregnant and the baby is 2 weeks in utero, actually they have and they have given birth. There is-
What?
Yes. There's one recorded case of a 5-year-old girl who gave birth.
Is that common?
Yes, not it's common. 5-year-old get sometimes, and if they get pregnant, I think they should be able
Is it really that common that 5-year-olds are getting? My God.
to have
Damn.
medical access to something that could
That's
save
nasty
not only
work.
just their life, but like their livelihood.
How many, I'm curious.
I hope your daughter lives a very happy life and gets away from you.
Damn.
That is really nasty. And so her belief system, just so we're clear, is that yeah, no, I got it. It's fine. I mean,
Keep going.
Oh my God.
insanely nasty, and we'll talk about it. My next claim is that college is a scam.
I'm not.
Yeah, I just like when people talk. Yeah,
So,
just keep on talking. Just keep on talking.
And well, let's define our terms. College being traditional four-year college, of course. University, not community college or technical college, of course. A scam, we can agree on a definition, is where a majority of people.
Remember, he defines it that way because at some point he's going to bring up trade school. It's always trade school. Every single person who has an Ivy League
Listen to
education
these
who's
crazy
still
ass
going to
fucks
Ivy
going
League
at it.
schools,
She been trying to get that phone since yesterday. Yeah, them folks been going at it since yesterday.
And are being deceived when they sign up. So do we agree on those terms?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Well, what would further definitions? What do you think is the purpose of
So
going to
the
college?
purpose of college should be a traditional liberal arts education, pursuit of what is good, true, and beautiful. That's not what it is. It should be the betterment of yourself and your soul, nurturing your character, becoming a better citizen, understanding the deeper things in life. At the very least, though, it should be preparing one for the job market. Do you think college does those things?
I think it does, but I would add on to your point that I think not only is it for the betterment of yourself, but it's for the betterment of society. We need historians. We
Mhm.
need certain majors that may not make as much money. I think those are for the betterment of society.
We need
should
more
represent some majors
engineers.
that may not make money, but are still essential
Well,
to
it
society.
depends. Do you think that getting a degree in gender studies is good for society?
I would agree. Yeah. Why would studying gender not be good for society?
Well, learning that men can give birth is not exactly a good use of time. Is it?
How many abortions are third trimester abortions? It's like less than 1%. That's all conservatives talk about. How many degrees are gender studies degrees? Like, how many, like, how many people go to, how many people do you know they go to college for gender studies?
Not that many. None.
Is that what they're teaching in college right now?
Colleges, yeah. According to the Center for Disease Control, they no longer say women can give birth; they say birthing persons.
Okay.
Do you think men can give birth?
Do I think men can give birth? I think
The
Here we
best
go.
the best counter argument here. God, now I can't wait to use this against conservative, except I'll never debate a real one again because they're all cowards. Well, I'm not sure. Do you think that Iman Khalif can give birth? Wait a second. What do you mean? The boxer? Yeah, isn't she male? She had XY chromosomes, right? But I think she might also have like a uterus and stuff. So can she give birth? Yes or no? And then if she can, is she a male? Or is she something in between?
Oh,
Are you gonna
that lady
break
from the
genders now?
Olympics.
Or is she a woman with XY chromosomes and now you're gonna break that mold? Or like what? God, that would be such a great response. Can Iman Khalif become pregnant? Is she a man or a woman? Wow.
Yes or no question.
I think that a person who is assigned male at birth, I don't think that's
Assigned male at birth, so people are not male at birth.
I think that a person
See, your evidence that college is a scam, my friend.
college is a scam.
You're lacking in a lot
Well,
of.
here we can continue right now. So, gender studies. Do you think that studying gender is not essential? Should we not deepen our
There is an argument to be had actually
We should
Down this
study
road.
everything.
that you can defend if you want to be more radical. Not even more radical. You
Continue
can-
to study
general education is
everything.
important. He's right, but it's not.
Earth,
this isn't the time we're
outer
gonna set up a debate,
space,
but
Gender,
I don't think gender-
man,
we're gonna get there. I
female.
don't think gender exists. I think that there are
Animals.
sexes, infinite personalities.
We don't know
genders.
everything.
Let's get back to the core contention.
Well, you're gonna ask this question again real quick.
Well,
How
I'll
do you
get
think?
back to my core contention. It's a scam. So that the majority of kids that go to college, if they end up getting a job at all, they end up getting a job that doesn't require a college degree.
Do you think that certain jobs that may not associate with a direct major can incorporate skills that you learn from a major? I think I'm an econ major, and depending on what job I do in the future, I can.
you know what just popped into my head? You know what? I'd be really curious how a conservative would answer this. When people talk about high skill versus low skill immigrants, what's the difference between that? How do you know which immigrant is a high skill immigrant versus a low skill immigrant? Are we just going by
Yeah, they
prior job
eyeballing
history,
it.
or are we factoring in education or training at all here? Or is it literally just have they already had the job? I'd be really curious what the response is from a conservative.
So,
Awesome.
the
So
skills
tell me about Milton Friedman.
tell me about Milton Friedman. He's an economist from
How
They
about Thomas Sowell?
eyeballing
Thomas
it.
Sowell.
Ludwig von Mises.
Well, I will say that I'm a first.
How about
God, I would love to.
again real quick? Well, I'm gonna get back to my point.
Yeah, I was
It's a
watching
scam.
Destiny
So
on
the
Piers
majority of
Morgan
kids that go to
too
college,
earlier
if they
today. I'm
end
gonna
up
go
getting
back
a
and
job
look
at
at
all, they
that
end up
too.
getting a job that doesn't require a college degree.
I
Do you
like
think
that
that
one.
certain jobs that may not associate with a direct major can incorporate skills that you learn from a major. I think I'm an econ major,
There's a,
and depending on
But that guy with the blonde hair, oh my
Tell me about
gosh,
he's
he
an
gets on my
economist
nerves.
from-
How about Thomas Sowell?
Oh.
Ludwig von Mises.
Well, I will
The response here should be, I didn't go to school for economics. I don't know the answer to any of these things. But the reason why it's important to go to school is because if you don't, you could just like learn names of these people, not know anything about what they actually teach, right? You just named 3 economists. What does it mean when we talk about elasticity of demand? What is quantitative easing? What's the relationship between a country's monetary policy and like a gold standard or gold reserve? Or what does reserve currency mean? What does fiat currency mean? Or like if you were to ask any econ like 101 question, 101, or even what he would have no idea. And be like, oh, okay, interesting. You've read all these economists, but you don't know. Well, man, I don't know. I'm curious. What do you answer any of these? I say that, but maybe. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Charlie Kirk debate anything of substance my entire life. Obviously, do your homework before you ask these questions because you don't want her to know them yet. But
Listen,
Okay,
I'm a first year.
how about
I'd love to see you answer the gender studies, but
we will get there later.
Well, think
I wonder
it's
how
difficult
long
to
this
think
went
about
on.
just one major, thinking about just gender studies. Like, sure, like not everyone should be a gender studies major. We need doctors, we need lawyers, we need everything. However, why does it matter if 10 people want to be a gender studies major and it matters to them? Like, not everyone can be a lawyer, not everyone can be a doctor. There needs to be some people, and you know what? Yeah, it sucks that some people do go to college and get a degree and then they end up not in a workforce for that. But I don't think that has to do with like college was a scam. It's more like maybe that just wasn't the path for them, or that life choice.
none of these guys know any of the numbers or stats either. Like college degrees still confer an economic advantage, even if you don't even if you don't get a job in your declared major, even if you do get the gender studies degree, you're still doing better on average than the high school grad.
It's just too hard to get for them. But some people are able to go to college and get a degree and use it, and that is super important because imagine if no doctors went to college, they're just like, I think I can do
Well,
it.
of course,
Like,
doctors and lawyers need credentialing, right? But
so
less,
college.
well, less than 5% of all people that go to college end up studying medicine or in legal. The vast majority go into social sciences, communications, and humanities.
Need to do
So you're in
that.
college or have been, is that correct?
Yeah.
Are you forced to take classes that you think are a waste of time?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
like, I
hold
know
on,
what.
hold on. So they're taking your money and they're forcing you that they're a waste of time. That's kind of scammy, right?
Oh, I think that some
Ooh,
classes.
some have been, is that correct?
Yeah.
The vast majority go into social sciences, communications, and humanities. So you're in college or have been, is that correct?
Yeah.
Are you forced to take classes that you think are a waste of time?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
like, I
hold
know
on,
what.
hold on. So they're taking your money and they're forcing you that they're a waste of time. That's kind of scammy, right?
Oh, I think that some
Ooh,
classes
some. Do you have to plug on debt, right?
depends.
Okay. Are you going,
What
are you
college you
going,
go
into,
to?
are you going into debt?
No,
Okay, well, that's good.
I picked the school.
But it's also funny because technically all of us exist in the realm of like squarely like liberal arts-ish kind of things, right? Me, Charlie Kirk, like what do? We're doing like communications, political science, whatever, like these kind of like broad like liberal arts things. We're not doing engineering. We're not doing any hard science stuff. We're not doing any medical research. We're not doing any like applied sciences. Like we exist solely in this realm. But then the thing he goes to shit on college is all of the stuff that is in the realm of like everything he does. It reminds me when Candace Owens was sitting next to me and I was like, what did you go to school for? And she was like, journalism. I was like, well, haven't you used that in your life? She's like, what do you mean? How have I ever used my journalism degree? I'm like, what? Wait, what? Aren't you a journalist?
There
Mhm.
are rules
Get
that
a degree,
work.
Oh,
College is
do your
every
stuff.
single person that I went to school with is not using the degrees that they paid for.
What did you go to
What they
college for?
actually, what did I, journalism.
Isn't that what you're doing right now?
right.
What do you mean?
Well, that actually after me as scholarship.
Also, someone else thinks-
What do you mean? Aren't you a journalist?
That's
No, I'm
school that wanted to give me an opportunity.
You are
But
a
that's not what we're
journalist,
talking about.
kinda.
Right. So you
Right.
said that
Someone else.
You're a wannabe
Yes,
journalist.
Kind of like how after I get my college degree and I start paying
You
taxes.
think?
I'm paying
I
for
bet
somebody
she
else's
thinks
stuff, or I'm
she's
paying for
using
somebody
her
else's
degree.
stuff, or I'm paying for your company to have tax breaks so that you can reinvest and grow your business, or I'm paying for the roads that are allowing your employees to get to work, or I'm paying for yes. Hello, welcome to taxation. Yeah.
comparison classes that if students had to go into debt or had to pay for,
Right.
would not be a good use of their time. So it's not representing students well.
Well, do you think like high school is a scam then? Because I had to pay for high school, but I'm not going to use AP US history in my psychology degree
Well,
ever.
I think AP US history is actually a really good use of time, knowing about your country and your history. And
Well, but I'm not going to use that in my career. That's what we're talking about in the career path for
Right.
college.
Let's go back. Why are we saying why is A push a good use of your time? That's not preparing you for a fucking job.
Yeah.
You need to know the order of the presidents to get a 80,000, 90,000 a year job out of college. Why does that matter? Wait, so are there some things then? Are there something? Wait, so when you say you don't like a gender studies degree, are you worried about college and it being a scam and all that, or do you just not like gender studies, right? Because what
Hear what I said, right?
Yeah,
I said
you don't
traditional
like
college,
gender
right,
studies.
four-year college. What a scam
Man is man, is
majority-
woman is
the majority
woman.
of the people that would go through the enterprise, the business, or the institution are not getting their time worth or their money worth. So therefore, I go back to my core contention,
Okay.
which is the majority of kids that exit college will not use their degree at all when they would find a job.
But if you ask them,
that's not even really.
Man is man, is woman is woman. Man is man, is woman is woman. But yeah, he was just sitting with this fuck. Oh, they annoyed the shit out of me. He annoyed me. Ah, I just hate listening to him talk though. Here he is.
Dick Cheney, the most dangerous vice president in the history of the United States, says, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. Poll of likely voters nationally
Look at Sambo.
has Trump ahead of Kamala
Ah,
Harris.
this fuck gets
How
on
can
my
that be?
nerves.
And
Ah,
I
if
mean,
this
for
ain't a
whatever
house.
case, this smoke and fire for a
Oh
election.
my goodness.
You know, who knows where the polling
Oh, he
will
gets
be
on my
now.
fucking nerves.
Everything is still changing.
There go my boy right there.
How important do you think
This
tomorrow
fucker
night's
gets on
debate
my
will be?
nerves.
The last debate ended the
Oh
political
my
career of Joe Biden.
goodness.
It precipitated the events that led to him quitting the race.
He just
Could
irks
this
me.
determine tomorrow night 90 minutes of Trump v. Harris live in front of the American people and the watching world?
Okay, so
Could it trigger
Trump and Harris is
effectively
tomorrow.
the end of this race?
I'm gonna
I feel
love
like
that.
debates aren't really important until they are. Historically, debates haven't seemed to move the needle too much when it comes to favorability.
She got to go in with some flavor,
vote for a particular candidate.
though.
I mean, obviously, in the last debate, because people
She
had
most
perception
definitely
about
got to
Joe
go
Biden
in
that
with
seemed
some
to be true.
flavor.
After watching the debate, that shifted the needle significantly. So, I mean, it's hard to say. It could be that tomorrow both of them do their thing. You know, Kamala gives her sassy pushback. Trump gives his normal, meandering, stupid, brainless answers, and nobody really cares much about what happens because everything goes as expected. So,
Right.
or it could be that
That's
one of
all
them
he gonna
has,
do.
you know, step out moment, that one of them loses their cool, and maybe that moves the needle.
That's all he gonna do. We already know what he gonna do.
At this point, it's pretty much impossible.
Well, on that, I completely agree with you. Javier,
We already know what he gonna do.
Day one of the Black Voters for Trump tour was a massive success. The next time the left tells you MAGA is nothing more than a bunch of old white guys, show them this picture. The next generation of Black America will destroy the Democrat Party. And you said about Kamala
Destroy the
Harris,
Democrat
a woman
Party
who's
to
confident in
make
what she stands
what?
for, would be able to not only handle but address and overcome.
Oh no, they're not gonna destroy the Democrat Party
Same resilience.
to make anything. They're gonna destroy the Democrat Party just to join the Republicans.
Electing a black woman wears off. I mean, strong words there, but what is interesting to me is how Trump's support.
Yeah, but what are you gonna
Black
destroy
Americans
the
has been
Democrat Party and make it?
consistently increasing
What are
in
you
the
gonna
last
replace
year.
it with?
And you've seen it being eroded from the Democrats, which is almost unprecedented, really.
God damn, he looks like a fucking coon.
It's largely happening because we're tired of being lied to. I mean, for how much longer can we have the Democrats?
So you've
over
been
and over
tired
they're going
of
to
lying
do
to by the
great
Democrats,
promises for
but
us
you're not
just
being
not follow
tired
through with anything.
of
I mean,
being
just
lied
look at
to
the
by
way
the
back in 2020,
Republicans.
Joe Biden
How that
went
makes sense?
and acted like he was going to be the biggest spokesperson for BLM. And the second he got into office, he had nothing to do with the Black community anymore. We have seen these lies play out time and time again, and it's exhausting. We see the way that our economy is in shambles. We see the way that our border is wide open. We see all these pressing issues that are not being addressed properly by the Democratic Party. And at this point, it's like, what do black men have to lose? Why would we continue to go the same way that is clearly
You
not
have
working for
everything to
us?
lose.
Why
Your
don't
goddamn
we try
self-respect.
something different and get away from the Democratic Party? And that's why more eyes are.
That's what you got to lose.
Because for far too long,
Fucking with the Republicans. Your self-respect.
Policies. We were called coons and Uncle Toms and all these different slurs. And why is that? Because they wanted to take away our power. They wanted to take away our power to think for ourselves and to go out and seek the truth. And that's why so many more black men are starting to vote for Donald Trump, because we ultimately want a better future for ourselves and for our next generations.
I mean, Jill Stein, it's been the presidential race this year.
He wrote that down.
Nothing could be predicted. It's been a roller coaster ride, the like of which.
And she from the Green Party.
This debate could be.
She from the Green Party.
The way the last one was. What do you think Kamala Harris needs to do to try and defeat Donald Trump tomorrow?
I think it's highly unlikely that this debate is going to capture the spirit of the American people. I think we're seeing the two parties basically fail. Well, I think we are seeing the two parties fail to address the healthcare crisis, to address the housing crisis, where 50% of all Americans are basically 1 or 2 paychecks away from eviction, can't afford their rent. 63% of
Why haven't I
Americans
heard a
paycheck to
candidate from the
paycheck.
Green Party?
And yet we are spending half of our congressional budget.
Is she
on
the?
endless
I
war
think she the
machine
first
empire.
person I ever seen
vast
from the Green
majority of
Party. I
Americans
mean,
want an anti-genocide,
she the first person I ever
going on
seen from
in
the Green
Gaza,
Party.
and yet, as well as a weapons embargo to make that happen. Yet we are not seeing the
I
two
might have to
major
look up some on the
candidates
Green
actually
Party.
address either of these crises, and there's basically an
I do not
unwritten
pay
agreement
attention to
that
them.
we will not address the basically the dominance of Wall Street and the war machine over our economy, over our lives. The voters have basically been thrown under the bus. So it's no wonder that both candidates, I think, what you see largely are people
And she
voting
got her
against
pencil
the
in her
candidate
hand.
that they hate the most instead of for the candidate
And
that
she
they
got her
want.
pencil
And
in
I'll
her
just say,
hand.
my campaign will be doing an after commentary, also addressing the same issues brought up in the election, but from a very different point of view that actually addresses the crises that Americans are facing in every dimension of our lives.
If, though, the majority of Americans shared your view, why would the Green Party not be doing a lot better in the polling?
They never do good.
Well, for one thing, we're not covered by mainstream media, with the exception of, a few minutes here today, and thank you so much for that.
Why aren't you covered by mainstream media? You should be able to get on
The
CNN.
Democrats have pulled out all the stops
At least
in order to
MSNBC.
throw us off the ballot. They have their army of lawyers in order to not just deny third parties, but to deny voters what voters have actually been vehemently clamoring for. At record numbers, 63% of Americans are now saying they need other choices, and in this election, so the American voters really want other choices here. Those are being denied. The Democrats have also publicly advertised for
And I'm on my way to
spies in
1,000
order to
subscribers
disrupt our
too.
ballot drives.
Thank you,
This
guys.
is their strategy. They do not want to face us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Keep us out of debates, keep us out of press coverage, fear campaign and smear campaign against us, so that they can simply eliminate their competition. They are quaking in their boots. They have also hijacked our public funding, which we qualified for in order to prevent us from getting on the ballot. However, we are
The
largely
Green Party
prevented
should be
in
popping
spite of
this
their
year. Why
army
aren't
of
the Green
lawyers and
Party
the rest.
popping
We
this
will-
year?
We will be on the ballot for about 95% of voters. We will be the only anti-genocide, anti-war, climate emergency, pro-worker campaign that is on the ballot across the country, with a potential pathway as far as you want to go. And this is what voters are clamoring for, and this is what the debate should actually be about.
How do you feel about Kamala Harris's U-turn on fracking?
Well, she's done a lot of U-turns. I mean,
Yeah.
this is to be expected. She puts her.
There you go, following that Trump talking point.
She's done a U-turn on immigration.
She's done a lot of U-turns.
She's pulling back on the tax, the increase in the capital gains tax, which Biden had promised. And this is typical of the Democrats. They went into the last election saying they were going to fight for a $15 minimum wage. They wouldn't even bring that to a vote. That they would stand for workers, yet they basically forced the railroad workers to accept a contract that they had already rejected, which created very dangerous working conditions, which laid the groundwork for the catastrophe in East Palestine. They long ago, Barack Obama was talking about the public option as an alternative so that people could actually afford their health care instead of this crisis that we continue to have to this day. Yet where was it? The public option disappeared. The supposed bulk purchasing for pharmaceuticals that would bring down that price. Well, that became 10 pharmaceuticals by 2026, where the price would be reduced. So,
Yeah, enough of the Green
Republican
Party.
lawmakers, and
See,
at no
you
point
got
did
some
they use
time.
Twitter on the other side of the
See
world.
what happens when you get time?
But I don't remember voting for George Floyd for president or not.
You got time.
Comparison,
You got some
oh,
shine.
with Donald Trump. But what about George Floyd? It's just such a hilariously.
Oh, they love the George Floyd murder.
Well, let me ask you a difficult question.
Well, he was also a criminal about overdose, but that's another situation.
Okay, but what does that have to do with having a knee on your neck for 9 minutes?
Nominated for president. The Democratic Party. I don't understand what the comparison is for.
What does that have to do with
It's
having
just
a
funny
knee
that
on your
it's
neck
different
for
standards.
9
Like,
minutes?
This is fine, but this isn't fine. That's the whole point of that. You don't need to read that. deeply
She
into
say
it.
he was a
It's fine.
druggie.
Well, it's fine to have
Okay.
different, you have different standards for different people. Isn't that the point to have different standards for different
Okay.
people? Like,
What does that have to do with having a
I know,
knee on
it's
your
not-
neck
it's
for
not-
9
They
minutes?
put him on murals. They have tattoos. People have tattoos of George Floyd. They uplift him as this amazing,
Okay.
heroic individual. And the point that she's making is less about George Floyd being president. It's the way that they degrade Donald Trump. Because yes,
He
it's not a
suck.
glorious thing that we have a presidential candidate who has felonies on his hands, but
He's slow.
her point that she's making here is that they
He
are
don't
degrading him as
answer
like
a
this awful
question.
person, like he is the worst person to ever walk this earth. But then George Floyd, who has this terrible rap sheet,
He's a
is
racist.
uplifted to the heavens by the left. So it's not about him being president.
Well, let's not.
it's just so stupid. I'm sorry. I love my mom to death. She's one of the best people in the world.
Right,
She would
but
make
you
a
won't make her
wonderful
president.
Okay, if my mom was auditioning to be my mom,
I
would
don't
be
care if
number one
she's my
person with her.
mom.
If my mom was auditioning
Doesn't
for
mean
president,
she
I'd be
good
the
to be
biggest hater on the
president.
internet. Like, obviously, you have different standards for different people. This is such an insane point. Why would I defend
Just
this?
because she's your
This is
mom
ridiculous.
don't mean
That's
she's
the
good to
entire
be
point.
president.
The left has different standards for everything except for Donald Trump. That's the whole point. Anything he does is horrible, but if anyone
Well,
else
let's
does
talk
it,
about.
He has no
let's talk about-
standards.
Let's talk about
Who are
different
you?
standards because I
Damn,
found
I
it
forgot her
fascinating
name
just in the
already.
weekend that out of nowhere, Dick Cheney, who was named Darth Cheney after Darth Vader by Democrats for 20 years, he was to them the evil personification, the villain figure of all conservative ills in America. The guy who took America into the illegal war in Iraq, who trampled over human rights left, right, and center. And yet suddenly he pops up because he doesn't like Donald Trump and says, I'm going to.
That's what they do. Tell you what bad they did in the past. Tell you what you did in the past. And then say, hey, look, he's voting for Kamala Harris now.
To receive Dick Cheney's endorsement. What happened to the 24 years?
Probably can go back and find nothing he said bad about Dick Cheney in the past.
The most dangerous vice president in the history of the United States is what he said about Dick Cheney. And here's his own vice president saying how proud she is to get that endorsement. Do you feel?
Where's Trump, old vice president? Where's his old VP at? Why don't he have his old VP? Why do he got a new VP?
A traitor, an insurrectionist?
Would you be proud if Dick Cheney endorsed you?
Does Trump's VP endorse him?
Running for president? You take any endorsement you can get, of course.
Really?
Just because somebody endorses you, just because somebody endorses you doesn't mean that you support their beliefs.
You take any
Yes. Does
endorsement you
Trump's
can get. So if
VP
Adolf
endorse him?
Hitler decides to offer an endorsement, you would accept it.
A vote is a vote. Just because somebody endorses
Wow,
you
you don't
doesn't mean
deny
that you
it.
have to. What does it mean?
But
to
Piers is not a
Would you
Trumpist.
support Adolf Hitler to win power?
Well, right now I wouldn't because Hitler's dead. So I don't know what is the point. Do you have to go
Well,
around
give
and
an
try to
example.
disavow different segments of voters that
Let
are
me
voting?
bring it- let me
This is
bring
such
it
a
up to
nonsense.
speed.
This is such a nonsense question.
It's actually a
Pierre. What are
very
you
good
talking
question.
about?
It's a very good
Absolutely
question.
not.
But I'm going to bring in a living figure. If Kim Jong-un decided to offer an endorsement to Kamala Harris, should she accept it or not?
She gonna
When
say,
you
I don't
say
care.
accept an endorsement. Like, should she have a
Right.
full ceremony
Right.
celebrating
What
it?
is she gonna do? Hey, Kim Jong-un.
Today he said, I
It just
endorse
endorsed
from
me.
North Korea Kamala Harris to be president of the United States. Would you think she should accept that?
Tell me what you mean when you say accept it. Should she tell him no?
Should
Don't
she-
vote
should
for it?
Right.
Or don't-
Well,
what should-
would Dick
Who
Cheney-
cares? She
should
should
the
say who
president say how proud
cares.
she
It's
was
Kim
when he endorsed
Jong-un.
her?
I don't
And that
care.
staggered me, given what a hate figure Cheney has been for 3 decades or more to liberals, progressive liberals. He's one of the most progressive.
Why do you care how libs feel? You not a lib.
Nominee in American presidential history.
I love how all the Republicans care how Democrats should feel now.
Endorsed it. So my question to you was frivolous to start with. Would you accept Hitler's endorsement for a candidate? And you said absolutely. We didn't just
I love they
and then you said that he's dead. So then I said, what about
trying to
Kim
check on the
Jong-un?
Democrats,
President
liberals
Xi
now. They care how they
Vladimir
feel.
Putin or the Ayatollah Khomeini.
They hate that we didn't. They hate that they didn't get the vote for the nomination at the DNC.
disgraceful slurs on your
They
own
hate
text?
Kamala Harris just got
This is a
placed
nonsense
in.
question.
It was
I
a
remember back
coup.
in 2008,
It was a
I watched
coup.
Ron Paul get hit with the same question. I was a young college kid. I used to be libertarian. I think it was some KKK organization when they came out. They supported Ron Paul, and people were saying, "Ron Paul, do you disavow the endorsement
Yes.
from the KKK leader?" And Ron
Mhm.
Paul said, "You know what? If people want to vote for me, that's fine. I'm not going to tell people not to vote for me. Just because somebody endorses
Right.
me,
Trump
just
wouldn't
because
tell the
somebody
KKK
endorses
not
me
to vote
doesn't
for
mean that
him.
I support all the views of that
Would
person."
he?
You would agree with
I
that,
don't
right?
think so.
No,
If
I
somebody
would
endorses you,
admit,
doesn't mean you support.
sorry, no, I would say, no, if the KKK want to endorse me, I will publicly denounce that
You wouldn't.
endorsement and say I want nothing to do with
You
it.
wouldn't.
That is called being a civilized human being.
You wouldn't.
appear, Destiny, correct me if I'm wrong, to be of the view that literally any endorsement that helps you win power is absolutely fine. Even if
And are they endorsements? Why do you call them endorsements like they actually have that kind of power to say we endorse Kamala Harris as the KKK? They don't have no fucking power. Who cares who they endorse?
Then allow them to vote for you.
You have no problem when the
Then allow them
fucking
to vote for you. Why would you sit here and fight against an endorsement? For
KKK endorsed Trump.
Nonsense.
Okay, well, I don't agree with you. I think you've just
Endorse.
opened a can of worms.
What the fuck does it mean when they endorse you?
Let me bring in Jill Steiner.
Who cares who they
If you got an
endorse?
endorsement from Dick Cheney
They don't have no
or the
power.
Ku Klux
They just
Klan
telling they
or Vladimir
votes out
Putin,
loud.
public
I
endorsement,
mean,
what was your reaction?
who cares who Dick Cheney voted for?
I would publicly reject it, but let me say.
Ah, whatever, bitch. You just following along with what Pierce said.
Policies of Dick Cheney, you know, his.
That's all. You just following along. And bitch, the Green Party ain't gonna never get no shine anyway. So, bitch, you should be talking shit right now. Hey, yeah, she should be talking shit right now. I don't. Hey, they don't get no shine anyway. So shit. I guess why not talk shit? I guess.
That is the more critical problem here than the endorsements. But yes, absolutely, I would certainly reject those endorsements.
I mean, we've got a
But the
picture.
real problem here is that the Democrats have really adopted.
And then she just been going at the Democrats the whole fucking time.
Let's take a look.
Are you a
She's
Green
saying
Party
Vladimir Putin.
member?
So
Bitch,
if
you sound
Vladimir
like a
Putin
Republican.
Offered you an endorsement, what would you say?
I would absolutely reject it. And I was there actually at a conference in order to challenge Vladimir Putin. Unfortunately, I didn't have an opportunity to talk with him because he sat at that table for about 10 minutes.
Why the
before he gave
fuck
a
would he
speech in
talk to
Russian.
somebody
There
from
were
the
no
Green Party?
introductions. There were
Who
no,
are you?
No exchanges whatsoever.
I need to
no
look her up.
conversations. The one person I could talk with was a former German foreign minister who was sitting to my right.
A
Really
former
but
prime minister.
otherwise, I was not able to talk to any of the dignitaries. The guy on my left, I thought was just Putin's bodyguard. It turned out he was like his press, his chief of press or something like that. But there were absolutely no introductions. And by the way, the Senate Intelligence Committee investigated.
Enough shine for you,
whether
Green
there were
Party.
any
That's
connections
enough.
between
Maybe
myself,
nobody
my
cares.
campaign, and the Russian government, etc. For
Okay,
a long
all right, but
time.
just
It's
to
a very
clarify-
unfortunate circumstance that puts us.
Yeah, the
all
Green
at
Party,
risk. This is
you
like
know, you get your list, you gonna get some
in
shine.
reverse.
Just to clarify that, when you say that the invasion was a provoked response to the bigger, more murderous game of the US empire, do you stand by that statement?
So it's important. Let's put the Ukraine war in context of
Well, do you stand by that
75 regime change operations of the U.S. I absolutely. I would like to be able to explain that statement.
Of course
so it
you
doesn't
do.
have
She
to
want to get
stand
her
as a
shine,
soundbite.
boy.
But absolutely. I mean, the U.S. spends more on our military than the next 10 countries.
Thanks for telling
We
us
spend half of
something
our
we know.
congressional budget on these endless wars, and what's going on in Ukraine basically was just the latest in a whole series of absolutely catastrophic wars that are robbing the American people blind. We're spending half of our
The
congressional
American
budget.
people.
The
Thanks for the
average
key
household,
words.
according to Jeffrey Sachs, who I know is a friend of yours.
Yeah,
as
the
well,
Green
at
Party
the
ain't gonna never
University of
shine.
Columbia,
Now if y'all keep coming in like this, y'all sound like
$12,000 is the cost
the
of
same
this
old,
election
same
to
old.
the average American household. Now, most Americans do not know what we are paying for this and what the risks are, because, as I was mentioning, this is the Cuban Missile
Well, I know
Crisis.
The same old,
And
same
you
old.
may recall,
I know what you're paying for. You're paying to
you know
preserve.
what? I'm sorry.
I think you're paying to preserve freedom and democracy, which is, by the way, what America's position in the world was for many, many decades, and very successfully. I want to bring in Javier here.
Well,
I mean,
it's
very
no
interesting, Javier.
longer
We're getting-
succeeding, shall we?
It's no longer
We're getting into
succeeding.
interesting moral mazes here.
Well, why do we
Destiny
have the
done
biggest
by
army in
having
the world?
endorsements from Adolf Hitler or Kim Jong-un. Jill, they're thinking that America somehow is more to blame, it seems, than Russia for the invasion of Ukraine and so on. How are we getting to these weird moral places? Why is there not just an agreed line between people of all sides that, yes, we defend freedom and democracy where we see it attacked and imperiled, and yes, actually endorsements from genocidal maniacs are not to be accepted?
Because that would make too much sense, Piers. I mean, at this point,
Yes, we
we've
don't
already
like
seen that
genocidal
politics, both
maniacs.
domestically and globally,
Israel.
cause
We
division
just like
among
we just like Israel.
I think
That's the
you should
only
not. When it comes to,
genocidal
I want to go back to when it comes to accepting
country.
that endorsement. You can also just remain silent if someone comes out and endorses you, because ultimately you do want those votes. But the way that the left has embraced Dick Cheney's endorsement is just hilarious to me, especially considering Joe Biden's on record saying that Dick Cheney was the most dangerous vice president of all time.
Yeah, I don't like listening to him.
Back against this accusation that somehow our civilization
Ah, can't listen to a coon talk for too long. Not for too long.
This is not so. We compare it with what?
All time, and they spent 20 years calling him a war criminal and all these nefarious things. But then you have Bernie Sanders going out and saying how great of a thing it is that Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala Harris. But again, it just goes to show that this.
Yeah, I believe we shouldn't be endorsing these, accepting nominations from these motherfucking warmongering,
But when it comes to just
these
the
old
of all these different
warmongering
different
fucks.
allegations of who's a war criminal and who is not.
Yeah, I agree with him on that. That's the only part.
People have a better
Yeah, we shouldn't be agreeing with these motherfucking.
Missing from modern political discussions is actual policy, and actual policy would be relatively easy to compromise if we got rid of
Jezebels.
but that want to get ratings and that want to get the attention that people want onto other things so that they can distract us, so that they don't have to do the actual work that it would take to solve our country and turn things around.
Okay, let me bring in Emily. I mean, Emily, do you think, political endorsements?
But when we talk to Trump, he never has policy. Why he never has policy?
Or not, as the case may be. I'm really not convinced that Dick Cheney's endorsement of Kamala Harris will be anything but in the slightly longer term bad.
And now they want to focus on Dick Cheney.
His reputation and his daughter, who was a great Republican cheerleader, and then decided to go full on against Trump. It cost her her seat, obviously. And they're the pair of them now queuing up to support a Democrat.
And Piers, you would be a fucking Republican in America.
After 25 years of
You may be a Democrat or whatever the fuck you are over in the UK or yeah, over there. But over here, you will be a fucking conservative.
People are gonna forget about this when she does the next dumb thing in a couple days, and the next speech comes out where in 18 minutes she can't.
Oh, when she do the next dumb thing, like she Trump. So now they gonna treat her like she Trump, like she just the dumbest thing out here.
Interview with Putin where he's smirking, almost laughing.
That's what I love hearing it. Why do they talk about Kamala like she's just the dumbest thing alive? Like, do you know she took the bar twice?
Endorsing Kamala Harris as he wants to be president. The only reason he wants to be president, he thinks that she would be a.
It's like, do you know she been voted on by her constituents? Her constituents.
Frame him as Putin's great buddy and so on and so on. He's unpredictable. And I think on the world stage, I quite like that unpredictability. They seem to keep them all in their boxes, whether it was Kim Jong-un, President Xi, Putin, Ayatollah Khomeini, they all kept in their boxes pretty much.
No, they literally, what are we talking about? Iran literally attacked Saudi Arabia under
We were
Trump.
in war.
Kim Jong-un literally, that's great, you have a cute little phrase of in war, but they were attacking the country with bombs, okay? I don't know what you would call that, whatever you would call that is fine. That's that's congratulations, okay? Kim was still testing missiles, okay? That didn't stop under Donald Trump. The appeasements that he was making.
Right, Kim never stopped testing missiles. And why did Trump go to North Korea anyway? What did he achieve?
To actually deal with any of the issues that were going on around.
What did he get for going to North Korea?
Credit for foreign policy because he kicked the can down the road on everything.
Propaganda for North Korea.
Doha to make an agreement cutting out the Afghan
Afghanistan government? Did he abandon allies in Syria while also bombing a Syrian airport? We said, oh, Trump was the president of peace. When he was making deals in the Middle East, cutting out the Palestinians, when he was having photo ops of people like him. This idea
Move the embassy from Jerusalem to Jerusalem, I
that we
think,
should be
to
talking policy in the
Jerusalem.
United States instead of antics. I agree 1,000,000,000%. It's actually a huge problem that I have. Kamala Harris is significantly to the left of me on a lot of economic issues. We can't talk about that because the conservatives have abandoned policy since 2016.
They have no
They just want to talk
policy.
about whatever crazy antics Trump is up to. And the idea of making fun of Kamala Harris being unable to
Ain't gonna make a funny face. Yes, bitch, you're a conservative. You have no policy.
What policy would you support to help children?
You have no
child
policy.
care for struggling families is hilarious. Donald Trump literally can't speak. He's never put together a coherent policy thought.
That's why he
his
does
entire
3-hour-long
life.
interviews every day with the
At
biggest people
all.
in the country because he can't talk. Got it.
You should try actually watching one and listening to the words that he's saying instead of getting so excited that Donald Trump
I
is
watch
speaking.
every single one.
I bet you
Really,
do.
give me one coherent policy position that Trump has expanded on in the last 2 months.
So out of Theo
Exactly.
Vaughn,
That's
let's
it.
bring
Yeah,
that
that's
to
it.
the
Exactly.
top. And he didn't have one
He didn't
session.
ask you to interview us. He did interviews with.
People are demanding.
He asked
you know,
for
go to
policy.
Kamala Harris's website. What do you find? You know, you find advertisements for, you know, for basically brand clothing and you know, mugs, coffee mugs, and so on. You will not find her policies. And likewise, in
But
their
they're
public
selling
statements and in their
cards and-
debates, we are not seeing coherent policies, and they're not being debated. Why? Because they're both being funded by the billionaires, by the oligarchs, by the upper 1%.
Green
and
Party.
the parties in
Y'all
Washington.
get y'all
We saw
shot.
footage from the
This
DNC,
y'all.
from the
This is
Florida
her.
DNC. We saw the ring of corporate suites up at the top costing anywhere from $500,000 to $5 million. That is the power in the House, both for the Democrats
Okay.
and the Republicans. That is
Okay.
why we badly need to open up this political process, and that is what the American people are demanding.
The
And it's
American people. She
who
sound
are
like
locked
Bernie
out of this
Sanders.
discussion.
I think she
Because
watched the
we
Bernie
have
Sanders
other
interview
candidates who
before
are
she
not
came
being
on.
paid for.
Okay, I want to just bring in another guest.
Everybody's so worried about the American people. The American people. The American people. God damn.
After the family of one of the co-writers pursued a lawsuit, Trump's campaign used it at the RNC in July, as well as before and after speeches at various.
I don't want to fucking hear this motherfucker.
God bless you.
I don't have any comment about his dancing. It's not a dance, it's just a shimmy. But no, I can recall.
Okay, to get serious, why are you so angry about one of these songs being used at a Trump rally? I mean, after all, I would imagine
They don't want him using their shit. He sucks.
there would have been lots of conservative voters who would have bought your father's records.
They don't need him to buy. It's
not
already a
to do with
hit.
that. It's a longer story.
They don't need them environments. Already a hit.
Writes his music a year before I was born, and so during the span of his lifetime, he never saw money from those records. Our family never saw the income from those records, and so in the United States of America, we have a copyright termination law that if there were bad deals done, the opportunity for the author of those works to reclaim those copyrights is something that was possible. So we filed termination notices for these songs in 2014, knowing very well that they would come back. So as soon as we get these songs back in March of 2022, here comes Donald Trump infringing on the copyright at the end of the NRA convention in Houston, where we didn't want him to play the song without, preparing to actually have a proper license.
Yeah,
So
he
I
did
thought
it
was
anyway.
distasteful to do that on the heels of this mass shooting in Houston with the NRA convention. And so that is where this stems from. I'm not angry. This is simply a matter of copyright law and someone that is not paying to have the proper,
Yeah, and why he got to be
license to
angry?
use the song.
He don't want you to use his daddy's shit.
If Trump paid up, then you wouldn't have any problem in principle with your father's songs being used at the rallies.
No, well, here's the thing. I would have a problem with Donald Trump. I think people are trying to make this a political
Right.
conversation.
Yeah.
This is not Republican or Democrat. This is the nature and the character of Donald Trump, a person that has been found liable of sexual abuse.
Liable
Using
of
a song that
sexual
says
abuse.
disparaging things about
Hello.
women. He says, very cruel things about women, especially women of color. And I know my father would not want that person using that song, right? And more importantly, Donald Trump has a name. He sued over 100 people for his brand, his image, his likeness, his IP.
That's true.
And so, how can he?
Right. He don't
infringe on
want
someone
people
else's copyright if he
using
sues
him,
people
his
for doing
stuff.
the exact same thing?
No, I think it's a very valid point, but I'm just curious what your real motivation is, because you seemed at the start of this to say it wasn't about anything other than a copyright issue, which made me think that you wouldn't have an objection in principle if you paid the money. But it seems to me
It's a
like you do have
copyright
an objection
issue,
in
and he
principle
don't
to Trump
fucking like
using your
Donald
father's
Trump.
songs at all.
Yeah, that is secondary to the fact that he doesn't have a license to do so. Like you.
But even if he offered to pay, would you ban him from using it?
No, he wouldn't be allowed to. We wouldn't want him to use it anyway. No,
Right.
we
So
wouldn't
it's
want
not
him to
really about the money, is it? It's actually it's you don't like Donald Trump.
No, it's not saying that I don't like Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a character and a nature that does not gel well with our brand. I'm gonna tell you. Here's something that's more important. That song gets licensed, right? An enormous amount of times. The perception or the understanding is that when someone like Donald Trump uses that song, it's an endorsement of Donald Trump. And I don't want people to perceive that song is an endorsement of Donald Trump. I don't think anybody thinks that Beyonce is not endorsing Kamala Harris by her using her song, right? Okay. So at the writer of the song, then we have a right to say we don't want people to appear that we are endorsing Donald Trump, right? Allowing him to use this record.
Okay, but what if Trump comes back and says, "All right, I'll give you $1 million every time I play it"?
No. We're past that because he's actually violated copyright law, right? He's actually violated
past $1 million. Woo! Woo! That's a big number. That's a big number.
Portion of that time, he did not have the proper license from BMI to play that song, and then when he was told to not play the song, and got notified legally by BMI to not play the song, he continued to play the song. That's open and shut copyright infringement. That's $150,000 every time willful copyright infringement.
And he's not gonna pay it.
No, this is not. This
Okay,
is
so how much are you actually suing him for? $3 million, I've read. Is that correct?
Well, we made a request for $3 million, right? That was before we had the opportunity to settle or not take this case to court. But since then, they never responded. So we had to file an injunction. We got a temporary injunction. And so now every single use of that song is something that we would either go to trial with, or some sort of mediation will be worked out and that song will be paid for.
It's going to be hard to get money out of him, I must say. Oh, it's going to be very hard to get money out of Donald Trump.
The panel here. So Destiny, we start with you. I want to play a clip. This is Elton John during an interview with Variety, where he was asked about Donald Trump calling Kim Jong-un Little Rocket Man. Let's take a look.
I know that you're not a supporter of Donald Trump's. He loves your music.
I bet he do.
When he took the lyrics to Rocket Man and he used it as a nickname for Kim Jong-un, and then he gave Kim Jong-un.
I laughed. I thought it was brilliant. I just thought, good on you, Donald. I'm the Rocket Man. Yeah. Donald's always been a fan of mine. He's been to my concerts many, many times. So I mean, I've always been friendly towards him, and I thank him for his support. Yeah, when he did that, I just thought it was hilarious. It made me laugh.
Now, I was very surprised by Elton John's words there.
That don't mean he endorsing Trump.
But you got two very contrasting
Just because he used his words, Little Rocket Man.
Musicians. One is the son of the great musician, one is the actual musician themselves. But it all revolves around Trump and him using their brands in some way to further his objectives. What's your view about this? Should it be tolerated, given that everyone does it? Should it not be tolerated? Should people like Isaac Hayes III, on behalf of his family, have a legitimate case to sue for millions?
I mean, if copyright infringement is copyright infringement, I'll say that when I looked at the two different situations that were presented here, though, it kind of looks like the big difference is who's endorsing who. So for Isaac Hayes, if the appearance is that the music that I think is exercising control over, if that music is making it appear as though his family or his father is supporting or would have been supporting Donald Trump, that's the issue that he has with it. Whereas if Donald Trump is supporting, a different musician, that musician is probably likely to just say like, oh, okay, that's cool that he supported me. Like, that's it. Because it's just an endorsement. It doesn't mean that you endorse all of their views, right? You endorsing somebody else is a much bigger deal than them endorsing you. So I would say that looked like the biggest difference there between those two situations.
All right, and it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because there will be lots of people at Trump rallies who probably are big fans of Isaac Hayes' music. You know, I remember when I was at CNN getting involved in lots of
why aren't more artists coming out for Trump?
There were big
so he can use y'all music.
Say, I don't want to do an interview with you next week.
Yeah, why don't more artists endorse Trump? Why they don't like to endorse Trump?
Is it
Like Pierce said,
for these
there's some conservatives that'll buy your music, right?
war with Trump, given that so many of the audience
Exactly.
would be actually people that like the music?
Well, in general, I think it's lame, tired, and played out. Just because your song is playing at a rally or at an event doesn't mean that the artist who made the song is endorsing the candidate that is playing the song. The candidate that's up on stage might just be a fan of the song. That does not mean that it works the other way around, especially respectfully considering that Isaac Hayes is deceased. Nobody's sitting here thinking that, oh, his whole family must support Trump if he's using this song. However, I will give Isaac Hayes his family his credit. If it's true,
He
what he said
clearly
about
just
copyright
said it.
infringement, then yeah, pay him his money. I'm all for if that is the situation that's happening here. I'm sure it's not that big of an
He's
issue for the
clearly
Trump campaign
just said
to pay him
he don't want
accordingly if
Trump
that's the
using their
case here.
song, his
If
daddy's
you look at
song,
someone like Elton
because
John, he's an example of someone he is way
it's
too rich and
Trump.
way too established to be bought and paid for. He does not care about playing into the antics of, oh, I'm a celebrity. That means that I need to be far left and I need to be anti-Trump. Because majority of celebrities either do not care or a lot of them have begun to lean very conservative over the last 5 years. And if you talk to a lot of them here in LA, but they're not public about it because they still have this idea that if they at all tiptoe in the waters of potentially voting Republican, then they're going to be canceled. But I really don't think that that's
Why should they be
I
scared?
should not be hearing so much about whether or not Taylor Swift is Republican. That should be the most irrelevant issue that is on the table. We should be focusing on the issues that are actually happening in our country, but instead we're looking at the celebrities and looking at them as if they're supposed to be the ones leading our country.
All right, Jill Stein, do you play music when you do campaign events and things?
Oh, that's Jill
No,
Stein?
usually I don't. I keep those.
Okay, now I
Businesses
know.
entirely separate. They kind of occupy different parts of your
I did
brain,
not know that
so,
was Jill Stein.
I'm
I
not
remember
an
her.
artist or a musician.
Yeah, she should get her shine.
all.
This is
I
about all
really
she go get.
respect, the right of artists to decide, how their work is going to be used. I think it's fine for it to be used if they want, and fine for them to say, no, this is very, this is very.
Yeah, I remember when she was on the card. I remember when she was on the
A
card.
candidate that really violates the values of the work of art.
My problem with all this.
Totally respect.
Yeah,
the
my
decisions
problem,
that are
Emily,
made
with all
here.
this is that you can go to a massive party, a nightclub.
Now they mad.
5,000 people in there.
They don't
Half of
want
them might be
Trump
maggots.
using their music.
And the
Now they
DJ
mad.
might play all sorts of songs, right? What's the difference?
I mean, respectfully, I completely disagree with everyone. I think it's a song. I think music is for everybody. I
No.
think it is absolutely silly to put any politics with any kind of music. It's music. It's for
No.
everybody. It's truly that black and white. The first guy's statement is so hypocritical. He's like, it's not political, it's not personal. And then he goes on about how he doesn't like Donald Trump. I'm like, so this is clearly very personal. And of course, now you want money out of it. I get if, you violate something, you should pay. But it's so funny because I'm like, now of course it's personal. And the second one, do you notice how they have to start off? They're like, you're not endorsing Donald Trump and you're not a fan of him. And then he has nothing but nice things to say about him. I'm sorry. Frankly, it's very silly in general and it shouldn't matter at all.
I sort of agree. I just think music's for all. And also, you're right.
Music is for everyone.
Yeah, enough for her.
As the interview progresses, we don't have
Music is for everyone, but no, there's a business side to music.
Here's the real question for Emily and Piers. Let's say that you and your friends recorded songs as part of your band. And Hitler wanted to use those songs during one of his presentations. Would you be happy with that?
I would ban him immediately.
Well, then there you go. Then apparently you agree that artists should have control over who plays their music.
Right, exactly.
Full circle. I want to quickly talk about another moral maze.
Exactly.
I think he wants the check.
Yeah, I think he wants both actually.
Yeah, I think he just wants money, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I suspect that's the case.
I
I
can't
think
blame him.
it's
I take the
Donald
check
Trump who
too.
wants the check, and Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
politicians
personally, I would.
No, Jill. Bye, Jill. You got your little shine. Bye, Jill. Back to your hole. Back to your hole. Back to your hole.
The Justice Department is allegedly.
Oh, and then he said he wouldn't let Hitler use his song. Why you won't let Hitler use his song?
Operation to influence 24 US elections.
Why you won't let
They
Hitler
weren't
use your
directly
song?
named the personalities or accused of any wrongdoing. Court
What?
documents
Sound like you said?
until Wednesday revealed
Sound
that
like he
Russian
said.
state media producers funneled nearly $10 million to an unnamed. Have the lawyers emailed you yet?
No, nobody actually sues for defamation in the YouTube world. It's just a thing that people say because they have no idea what the actual mile standard is, and they have no idea what anything entailing a lawsuit is. My biggest issue with this is I do believe that I do believe, assuming everything led on the indictment is true, that the 6 commentators weren't told explicitly that they were being hired by what was ostensibly an arm of the Russian propaganda machine.
But I think they had a feeling.
Dave Rubin and Tim were getting offered such exorbitant amounts of money that
I think they had a feeling they was.
the question. When you purport to be a journalist, or in Tim Pool's case, an investigative journalist, and you don't even stop, and you're like,
Right. Who's this guy giving me all this money?
Political organization. Sure, why not? That's wild to me.
Javier, is it problematic list or not?
Can you say that one more time?
Is it problematic to you what's happened here?
I mean, of course it is. I'm not a fan of Russia having any involvement in our politics. I don't believe that many of these commentators necessarily knew exactly where the money was coming from, but I don't know. I don't want to speak on anyone's behalf because I'm not too familiar, but I think it just goes into the greater issue that's here. I don't like that Russia is getting so involved with our politics, and I don't like all the influence that China has had on our politics and on our country in general. I think it's ironic that the news broke about this whole Russia scandal less than 24 hours after there was a Democrat official who had just gotten exposed for being connected with the CCP as well. I think this speaks to a greater issue that whether you're Democrat or Republican, we should all be very unhappy with the foreign influence that's coming to our media and spreading propaganda here. But we'll see how this plays out as more information comes to the surface.
I mean, I should make it clear that all the ones who've gone public about this, Benny Johnston, Tim Pool, and others, they've all vehemently denied having any knowledge about where this money was.
Of course, they should.
Emily, do people have to be more careful?
Sorry, I'm just coming from common sense here. I work in right-wing media. It's pretty tough. No one's throwing money like that my way, I'll tell you that. But I think it seems a
Because
little
who are you?
suspicious in common sense. There's so few money in right-wing media because it's hard to tell the truth because you get censored.
So few money?
That's why they were so thirsty. If they were innocent, that sucks. But if they knew, whatever happens to them, according to law, maybe.
Nah, it's a lot of money
I'm not
on that
personally proud of
side.
any of them, and I don't know what's going on. I just want everything to be fair, as it, that's it.
Jill Stein is Vladimir's best friend on this panel. That's a joke. What do you make of this?
That's a joke. It wasn't a good joke.
Well,
So-
I think in terms of being fair all around, it's important to put this in context. As Destiny said,
Yes, that's enough for
as a
Jill.
foreign agent, which it should be.
Okay, well, just to be clear, none of
And
you
it
are
has
giving...
enormous impact.
Boy, she trying to get her shine on for sure.
Well, hold on.
I think it's really
Wait, real quick.
important to
I
look at what
don't know if
happens
there's
here.
I thought these were the new Russian marching orders that went out to all of the propaganda people that work for them. I guess the international media. I hear this line a lot, the big impact line. That's not relevant. First of all, people say, well, it didn't have that big of an impact. That's not true. If you're receiving money and you might think that that money is tainted because it's coming from a certain source, you're not only going to change your views on that platform, you're
Yep.
going to change your views on your own platform. The work that Tim Pool was doing for Tenet Media wasn't getting very many views, but his main channel is probably one of the most popular right-wing podcasts in the United States. He
Mhm.
probably does more views than most other political commentators online, save for a very small handful. So the idea that he might be changing that content so that he continues to milk those fat $500,000
Yeah, but to be clear,
$500,000 checks.
There's no evidence any of them changed.
We can say there's no evidence, but I'm just saying that idea, well, it's just a small impact. This is just one company that was called out. I think the DOJ said there were some 600 foreign influencers that could be taking money from Russian sources right now. So I don't think it's fair to justify
600?
Roxing is small.
God
Number one. Number
damn.
two, AIPAC, okay, has Israel in the name. The issue with this funding wasn't that Russia was funding media, it's that there was no disclosure. They lied about it. That's the big issue. AIPAC is not undisclosing money. We don't know who they,
No,
like, oh
I
my
think
God,
it also
AIPAC
is a
supports Israel?
violation
That's
of US
insane.
law.
That's
No, they are
crazy.
violating.
Yes, the violation of the U.S. law, yes, which is
case that we're
disclosure
talking
for
about
international
is
funds.
actually a violation of FARA.
Okay.
He's saying that, yes.
To do with disclosure, which is about disclosure.
But that is
declaring to
illegal.
the State
That
Department
is
you're taking-
illegal. Not to
Because they're not disclosing it.
To exercise influence on behalf of a foreign government is actually illegal without having declared it. So there are real legal consequences here. Yes, there absolutely are. And you can debate whether it's a
Okay, what are you saying, Jill?
larger blip. But the point is,
She is trying to
there's
get
a
it
huge
off,
impact here
boy.
and ought to be treated fairly and equally.
The sun
here
has a
as,
bigger impact on our
as a
climate than our
foreign agent.
cars do. That's not a point to anything. It doesn't mean anything. APAC and foreign money coming in through shell companies isn't even in the same conversation.
All right, I've got to leave it there.
Well, I think it is to a lot of American people who are watching our foreign policy really.
Well, you
go
both
off
made
the
your
cliff right
you
now.
both made your points there.
Israel has
I've got to leave it there. Thank you
She
very much.
made no
None
point.
of you are being paid $500,000 to appear on this.
I sure needed
Not
half
even
a
me.
meal.
The Russians have nothing to do with it, as far as I'm aware. So none of you have changed your opinions today because you're being paid to by the Russians. So on that basis, it's an extremely
Yeah.
exercise for the last hour.
Okay.
Thank you all very much.
This is a long one.